Hello and happy new year to my fellow Omi homies. It's Foster and I'm back at it again with another VeVe and Ecomi video. Guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you are watching this video right now and you are not subscribed, please feel free to do so down below. It is the only financial advice that I will ever give you on my channel. Guys, I know you read the title of the video and I want to reassure you it was not clickbait. I did in fact make 6 figures investing my first year in cryptocurrency, and I want to break down each of those investments for you here today so that I can document it for my own journey, but I've always done my best to be as transparent as possible with all of you guys, so I think it's important to let you know some of the things that I feel that I did right in 2021, some of the things I could have definitely done a lot better, and what I feel all of this will mean coming into 2022. Starting off with the most obvious investment, the investment that likely brought a lot of you to my channel, and that is the OMI token. For those of you that do not know, I found out about the OMI token in March of this year through a podcast that Logan Paul had put on. I spent several weeks in investigating the project, learning more about it before I dipped my toes on April 8th, making my first purchase of $1,000 of the OMI token. Over the preceding months that occurred, I learned more about the project and felt more comfortable about the long-term outlook and potential of the project. And this led me to today to invest $72,800 into the OMI token. That gave me approximately 14 million OMI tokens, and my dollar cost average is 0.0052. For all of the numbers that I am showing you guys as a disclaimer, it is all done in US dollars. I do live in Canada and I will be doing a conversion at the end of the video, but I do think it's important to keep it in a denomination that many people recognize. So all of the numbers, even if they were paid to me in Canadian dollars, have been converted into US dollars for this video. The second and probably most painful investment that I made this year was into other miscellaneous crypto. I'm sure that many of you got caught in the trap that I did, which was content creators on YouTube shilling specific tokens that they indicated, and I quote, would go to the moon. I got caught in this trap more than once, and I invested in SafeMoon, Bonfire, Kishu Inu, Starpup, and many more. It's funny when I look back on it because I actually didn't invest that much money into all of these coins. I invested about $1,000. But back in April when I invested, several of these projects went up 10 if not 20x. And I remember thinking how much of a genius I was to have gotten into crypto when I did and looking at all of the immediate gains that I had made. Coming from a traditional background, not knowing anything about crypto, a 2,000% gain in less than a month seemed absolutely incredible, and it made more than enough sense to cash out. But I continued to listen to the same content creators that had suggested the projects to me, and they indicated that they believed that the price was only going to go up. I'll show you the number of the current value of those tokens, but I'm sure, as you can guess, I was left holding the bag on at least one or two of them. Moving into what has arguably been the best performing investment that I've had this year is the VeVe collectibles. I would imagine that many of you have come to my channel as well through the content that I cover about the VeVe app. If you're not familiar with what the VeVe app is, it's a premium mobile digital collectibles platform that has NFTs from some of the biggest licenses and brands in the world, and I have several videos on my channel talking about the app. I invested $16,500 into the app since I started buying collectibles on April 21st. My first purchase was $350 in gems just to test the waters, and it quite quickly got out of control as I became obsessed with completing as many sets as possible. I currently have 38 sets and over 250 collectibles on my account, and that does not account for the 80 to 90 collectibles and 8 sets that my wife has on her account as well. So I definitely got pretty busy into collecting on the VeVe app, which is something, as someone who came in with an investor mentality, was something I never thought that I would. But I'm definitely grateful that I've been able to buy some of these collectibles, and I do believe that many of the ones that I am holding will be worth a lot in the years to come. If you guys are interested, I would be more than happy to make a specific video about my vault detailing some of the collectibles that I have. Let me know in the comment section down below. The next investment that I made had something to do with crypto, but it wasn't buying a crypto token specifically. For those of you that do not know what a Helium miner is, it is a box that sends out a low frequency signal that basically acts as like a GPS cell tower for networks. So instead of using your big cell phone networks wherever you live, if enough people have these hotspots, they connect as nodes on a network and they provide signal coverage so that people can eventually use the people's network, which is what the Helium network is, and utilize that for coverage. And the benefit is that major providers have to spend millions of dollars in infrastructure, and that cost gets passed along to you with all the cell phone towers. But if you own one of these nodes on the network that you paid for yourself, then you are essentially providing that network coverage. And as such, the Helium cryptocurrency is mined as a small percentage for every day that you have it up and running, and you earn those rewards. I bought 3 Helium miners and I spent $1,600 on them. I bought them back in May of 2021, thinking that I would get them within 4 to 8 weeks, and they actually showed up at the end of November of this year. So it took over 6 months to receive them. I have 3 of them, but I've only set up 2 of them because the pairing and syncing process is a real pain. And I have to say, overall, I regret buying them. I have made some money off of them, but it's definitely been more trouble than what it's worth. If you guys are interested in that as well, I'd be more than happy to make a video about it, but I know it's not specifically what my channel is about, but you can let me know either way. The next thing that I want to touch on is referrals. So what are referrals? Well, I have a Bitforex account, which is where I bought my Ecomi tokens. It's a cryptocurrency exchange, and I have a code that I can give out to people who use Bitforex. So in every single one of my videos, I never promote it, but if you look down in the description, I have the link for Bitforex. And if you sign up for Bitforex using my code, I get a very, and I mean very, small percentage of total transaction fees that you make. And I've received some commissions from doing that. And I will highlight how much it is, but I promise you it's really not that exciting. Obviously, for something like this, there is no cost associated with it. It is a free code that I get. And then I also use Bitbuy, which is a Canadian cryptocurrency exchange, which is how I facilitated the purchase of all of my Ecomi tokens. So a lot of my friends and immediate family who live in Canada have used that, and I earn a small amount from every time that they use that referral. And they also receive a bonus as well for using my referral code. So it's mutually beneficial. I have received some referrals, but I don't have any partnerships or any paid sponsorships with any major exchanges or anything like that on my channel. Speaking of my channel, that is the last source of revenue that I have. And it's funny because YouTube is never something that I considered a revenue source. And to be honest with you, it's never something that I'm going to continue to consider a revenue source unless something drastic happens. And the reason for that will be divulged when I show you how much money I've made. I've spent about $200 on YouTube. And when you guys say, well, what do you mean it's free to create a YouTube channel? Well, I bought a microphone and a camera so that I could continue to make YouTube content for people. So I spent a couple $100s on that. But overall, there's not really any overhead cost. I always tell people that are interested in creating a YouTube channel, the hardest thing is to click record and start talking. And then whatever happens after that, let the chips fall as they may. So I've spent about $200 to get my YouTube channel up and running. It is monetized. It got monetized at the end of October, and I have made some money off of it, and I will go over that here in the current value section. So those are the total investments. My total investments are $92,100 US. It's a pretty significant amount of money. And I should give some backstory and some clarification because some of you may be looking at me going, well, where'd you come up with $92,000? And that's a very valid question. So in the interest of full disclosure, when I first started investing into cryptocurrency, my wife and I had refinanced our home because we were intending to use those proceeds to get a rental property here in the city that we live in. During that same time, housing prices spiked 40%, and every house was going for like $100,000 over asking price. And as we were speaking to the realtor, we realized very quickly it didn't make sense to fork out the money to buy a overinflated property, because if the value of it was to go down, we would be left, quote unquote, holding the bag of a property that may not ever be worth what we had paid for it. On top of that, my wife was on maternity leave at the time, and although she was going back to work in the fall, she was taking 3 months of unpaid leave to stay home and take care of our daughter. So with only one salary for that 3-month period, there was some concerns that if something happened and we couldn't find a tenant right away, how would we pay for both mortgages? And it quickly became more trouble than what it was worth. But we had those funds in our bank account. So when I found the Omi token, we started with a very small amount of money, but as I learned more about it, I managed to convince my wife to let me invest more and more till the point that we got to the amount that we invested. And I have to say, I'm very appreciative and grateful that she was supportive of me in this endeavor. And I know that over the months and years to come, it will only continue to produce better and better results. With that being said, what's the current value of the Omi token? For me, based on the bag that I hold, it's $90,500. So that's at the current price of Omi, which of course fluctuates. So by the time that this video is released, it could go up or down another 5%, right? That's crypto, that's volatility. We've learned to expect it. Currently, I'm up $17,700 on my Omi token investment, which is fantastic. But I also want to tell you very quickly about something that happened in June of this year that really goes to show that you need to educate yourself and do your own research when it comes to making these investments and not just listen to people talking to you over the internet. And I do mean this very sincerely. This amount that we invested, this $72,800, was worth $11,600 in June of this year. I was down almost 90% on our investment, and I had a choice to make. I could either pull out all of our money and take that entire loss, or I could believe in the fundamentals that I had researched for the project and understand the long-term vision of what we were going for and let it ride. And that was the decision that I made. And of course, I'm very grateful that I did do that, because as you can see now, we're up $17,700 because of that. But that's why it's important to understand what you're invested in, because that can be extremely scary and extremely stressful to see that an investment that you've made is down that amount of money. It's also worth noting that I bought into the Omi token originally at 0.0073 and dollar cost averaged my way up because I bought the Omi token all the way up to 0.0094, which is where it was back in April. I also dollar cost averaged down, and I was still buying Omi at 0.007, 0.005, 0.003. I remember buying on the day that Omi was 0.0014. And it's so important, if you are going to invest with an amount of money that you are willing to lose, that you are dollar cost averaging into an investment. Because if I had purchased all of my tokens all at the top, then I would be in a far worse position than I am right now. So it's always good to make sure that you're doing that. The miscellaneous crypto, the fun one, I spent $1,000 on it. Like I said, it went up about 20x, and I didn't sell because I was like, this is going to do amazing. And when I say 20x, it wasn't $20,000. There were some cryptos that I had spent like $100 on that went up to $2,000. And then there's other cryptos that I had spent more on that didn't do anything at all. So not the entire portfolio was worth 20 grand, but some of those cryptos that I invested $100 or $200 in were worth $2,000 to $3,000, and I didn't sell any of them. The total value right now is $900. So I'm actually down $100. So I think I would have been better just to leave that in a savings account at a bank, or obviously investing in an Omi or something else. But it's just interesting to see, these are the things that were being most talked about on YouTube. These were the things that were being shilled the most. These were the to the moon fanboy people, and I ended up losing money. So I think it's important that you do your own research and you understand the reasoning behind why a project is going to do something, rather than just because someone on the internet tells you it's going to go to $1 million, right? So that's important. VeVe collectibles. This one's an interesting one. I'm just going to reveal the number and then we'll talk about it. My VeVe portfolio, and of course this is an approximation. This is based on the floor. This isn't based on any special mints or anything that I own, and I do own some special mints of some more valuable collectibles, is almost $100,000. I'm up $82,000 on my VeVe portfolio. Now, there will be some people in the comment section down below that say, but you can't take your gems out, so it's not real money. And okay, I get that. Nothing is real money until you put it into your bank account. I understand that, but that is still the value of the equivalent of what the gems are worth once the MTL has been facilitated and we're able to pull our money out of the application. This is obviously subject to change. It could go way up. It could go way down. Like I said, I will make a portfolio video if you guys are curious. Some highlights, though, do include 2 partner statues, 2 ultra rare Steamboat Willies. I do own all of the Disney Golden Moments. I also own the Amazing Spider-Man #1 Secret Rare comic book. I own Todd McFarlane Batman, and I own a lot of other great gems as well. I was very fortunate to get a lot of these collectibles either on the drop or at a very good price, and I did flip some collectibles that I owned to get liquidity for gems so that I could invest in other things, which has netted me $82,000 this year. Helium miners. I explained what they were before. Once again, not the greatest investment. Nothing against the project. I understand the premise behind it, which is why I invested in it. It's just been a pretty big pain. I've made about $600 in Helium token in the month and a half that my 2 miners have been up and running. Once again, I haven't even gotten the 3rd miner up and running yet. If you are curious to watch that full video, let me know and I'll put something together. But I am down about $1,000. And that doesn't even include some additional cost. I invested in some antennas and stuff that I didn't include in this, but it's probably closer to $1,500 that I'm down overall. So as you can see, some of the miscellaneous things that aren't related to VeVe or Ecomi, not doing so well. Referrals. Once again, no overhead cost, nothing crazy. $400. That is from, and I have it, 149 people have used my code on Bitforex, and 12 people have used it on Bitbuy. The 12 people that use it on Bitbuy, I get $20 each. So that's $240. So I've earned $160 from 149 people using my code. So I'm earning about $1 for every person that used my code. So it's definitely not make or break, but it's still money and I'm still grateful to be getting it. It doesn't cost me at all. And of course, I do appreciate that you guys are using it. I'm sure that there's some paid promotions or sponsorships that bigger content creators get with some of these exchanges where they're making quite a bit more money. But for me, I'm just happy and fortunate to be in the position that I am. So I have absolutely no complaints. Finally, YouTube. And I debated releasing this and not releasing this. I might also make a full video on it because I do find it fascinating because as someone that never made content until August of 2021, it's something that I never knew a lot about. It's never something that I've completely explored, but I've made $1,557 on ad revenue. Minus the $200 that I spent on the camera and whatever, it's $1,357. But I thought that that was interesting. So I got monetized on October 23rd of this year. And since then, I've made $1,557, which sounds pretty good. I mean, if you consider end of October, so really it's just November and December. I mean, that's almost $800 a month. I mean, that's a living wage for some people in countries. So that's not bad. But I think it's also important to recognize that $700 of that came in one live stream that I did, and 500 of it was from one donation. And I'm super grateful. Shout out to Austin for the $500 donation. It was absolutely fantastic and it blew my mind. But really, I've only, and I say only because it's still free money, $800 in 2 months. And I think I've put out 52 videos. So, I mean, I'm making $7 to $8 on a video. It's nothing crazy, right? Like, I'm not putting these videos out for the money. I'm putting them out because I think that they're valuable to the community. And I hope that you guys get something out of them. That's why I enjoy doing it. Could it eventually be more money? Possibly, as my user base continues to grow and as people continue to watch my videos, it may go up. And if it does, I'll be extremely grateful for it. But once again, I never started YouTube to make money. And YouTube making money is never going to be my goal. I'm never going to put out videos just to appease the algorithm or just to talk about something because I know that it's going to get me ad revenue. I'm only going to talk about things that I think bring value to you guys. And if you ever have any ideas about anything that you want to see on my channel, make sure to let me know in the comment section, because some of the ideas that I do use for videos come from you guys directly, and I am very grateful for it. What does this leave me with in total? The current value of my portfolio is $192,457. And the total profit and loss, if I was to realize all of my profits, and what realize means is that I own the Omi token, but I haven't sold it. I own VeVe collectibles, but I haven't sold them and liquidated them. So that's unrealized gains. It's not something that I truly have in my pocket, but it is value. So I would have 100,357 US dollars, which is crazy. I cannot believe that I made 2 years' salary investing in crypto in 8 months. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And I have to say that the Omi token has far underperformed my expectations, and I imagine by the end of 2022 this current value will be substantially higher, and I can't wait to look back in a year when I'm making this video on January 1st 2023 and see how all of these numbers changed and whether or not some of these numbers were realized or not. So it's going to be very interesting, and I can't wait to see where it takes me. Once again, I did mention at the beginning of the video that this is in USD. The Canadian equivalent total for my Canadian friends is $126,842, which is just absolutely incredible. As someone who, worked minimum wage for 5 years at $11 an hour, to even talk about some of these numbers in six figures is just absolutely mind-blowing. And I'm just so incredibly grateful that I've been able to embark on this journey, and that I have such a supportive family, wife, friends who have joined me on this journey, and then especially everyone that has joined me on YouTube and Twitter. It's just been absolutely incredible to see the amount of support that everyone has given me. It hasn't been a smooth ride always. I've definitely made the occasional misstep, and I've done things that I wish I could have done differently, but overall this has been an incredible year. I just love looking back and reminiscing, and I really can't wait for everything that the current year has to offer. Of course, I will continue to make videos on everything that does come out, and I look forward to meeting up with you guys in person and hanging out and getting to know everyone more as the community continues to grow and seeing where we can take this project together. That's it, guys. That's all that I have for you. I will continue to make the content as long as you continue to watch it. I appreciate all of you. And once again, Happy New Year. I love you all. Peace.